This is Living Halal.
الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Welcome everyone to this session of emotional strength. It's one of the promo events. We preview an upcoming training about emotional strength. The program is called Stronger Than Ever. And we know that we have to grow. One of the things for human being to survive is either you grow or you die. So to survive, we have to grow. But physically, our growth physically will stop after some time. But in other aspects in our life, like emotional growth, spiritual growth, these can be maintained. So that's why the topic of Stronger Than Ever is focused on emotional strength. Inshallah, we'll also touch upon other aspects of growth and strength, because strong mind should have a strong body. But the focus, nevertheless, will be on emotional strength. So why emotional strength is important? One of the ancient philosopher in China, his name is Confucius, most of you know. There was a senior guy to him, his teacher, called Lao Tzu, which may not be that famous in the West. Lao Tzu, he was more senior in age and also in terms of wisdom than Confucius. So Confucius went to Lao Tzu and to seek advice. So he asked him, advise me, teach me. So Lao Tzu opened his mouth and pointed to inside his mouth. So basically, he lost all his teeth. So Lao Tzu asked, do you see my teeth? He said, no. He said, do you see my tongue? He said, yes. He said, that's the lesson that I want to teach you. That the strength, the strong thing, the physically strong objects, they were gone. But the soft one, the tongue, that one remained. So from this story, we can also learn that when it comes to strength, it's not only about physical aspects, but also about emotional aspects. And this is pretty a hot topic in these days, especially after the best-selling book about emotional intelligence. So the author of the book, he mentioned that soft skills have hard values. These soft skills, that how can you control your emotion, how can you develop your emotions, all these skills that we may not, it may not show up in our school system, like nobody will test you or how well are you in terms of emotional strength, but these skills have hard values, and they can make people highly effective. And also, these are the skills. The soft skills are the ones that can bring your hard skills out and make the best use of them. So if someone is good in just have high IQ, but if you compare with, so you apply for a school, you graduate, then you go for a company. You may think, well, because I was better in school, I can do better in my work. That's not necessarily true. Those who excel in their life are the ones who have higher emotional intelligence. This is not just in your business and career life, but also your family life. And they have some concrete or some evidence out there, like in terms of numbers. One time, the MIT alumni fundraiser officer or trustees, he said that the biggest donors among the alumni of MIT are not the high GPA, high scored one, those 4.0 students. They are from the lower grade, but because they are more successful in life, so they can donate more. So this is another evidence shows that developing your emotional strength, it's a great investment for you. So this just in terms of the opportunity for you. Why should you develop the skills? The flip side of this is what happens if you don't? As anything in life, emotions is a blessing from Allah. Emotions are type of energy that you can express. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you these blessings, and if you don't use it properly and you don't invest it and develop it and control it according to Islam, then Allah will hold you accountable. So this is the first thing, that if you don't care about it, there is consequence in this life and also in the hereafter. Some other consequences that we know. We'll just take the matter of anger, and which is the topic that we'll focus today about, anger management. There was a successful professor in the U.S. One time he had a family issue. He had to go through divorce, and he came to work overwhelmed. So he shouted at his co-workers, and because of that, they fired him. So this professor, intellectually and career-wise, he has a proven record. But yet, because of lack of control in his emotion, that caused him to lose his job. So that's one example. Other example, we know that some people will go into divorce because of that. So this is another example of why it is important and why the consequence is severe if you don't control it and manage. Other stories, there's one father. His son broke the furniture set. So he was so angry that he tied his son's hand, and he left it like that for hours. Then at the night, the son was just, at the beginning the son was crying and everything. Then the son was just quiet, and when they found him at night, his hands were all swollen and blue. So they rushed him to the emergency room, but it was too late. The doctor said, we have to amputate those hands. So the father got really regretful, but it was too late. And we know that there are other incidents that cause people's life, cause nations to go into war, all because a moment of anger. And that shows the bad consequence if we don't strengthen our emotional skills. So let's go to the topic of anger management, since we mentioned all these stories. So if we just manage it, that means maybe you just control it. You prevent harming yourself and other people. But the thing that we want to focus in this training, not just today's session, but it's a whole month-long training, is that these things, it can go both ways, as we said. It may harm you, or you may leverage it and use them as a tool for you. For example, we know that Umar radiallahu anh has this short temper, and he has this toughness. But yet, because Umar radiallahu anh, he learned how to control and guide and manage his emotions under the guidance of Islam. Because of that, he knew how to channel it and produce the best actions to serve Islam. He became one of the defenders of Islam, using the very same characteristic that he has, which may cause harm, but yet he used the temper that he has to serve Islam and defend Islam. So, same for you. The weakness that you have may be a strength in some other setting. So one of the goals that we have in this training is to show you what are your strengths and weaknesses, and when can you turn that weakness into strength, and when can you leverage that strength to produce results. I'll give another example. When a weakness is a strength, it depends on the setting. For example, we know Oprah, she's a famous TV personality. When she started her career, she got a job as a news anchor. She reads the news. And for that job, you have to go by the script. You have to read the script. And she had that problem. She will just often go off the script. And she lost her job and didn't do well in that job. So this very same skill, or the ability of going off the script, the ability to just add libs and talk different topics, that is what brought her success in her career as a TV host. Because as a TV host, you have to interview people and act according to the questions and the responses of your guests. So you can see the same weakness that a newsroom considered as a weakness, going off the script, was a strength in some other circumstance. So this is about the emotional strength and about leveraging your strength. So let's go back to the anger management. Why it is important to control anger? We said the bad consequences, that if you don't control it. Also, what do you get? What's in it for you if you control it? What's in it for you is Jannah. Because there's so many narrations in the Quran and the Sunnah that shows that. For example, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the characteristics of the people of Jannah, so He mentioned that they give sadaqah. They give sadaqah openly and secretly. Then He followed on and said, and they control their temper. الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين. So these are the characteristics of people of Jannah. So if you can control your temper, you can, inshallah, go to Jannah because of that. And there is another hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, من كظم غيظا وهو قادر على أن ينفذه دعا الله عز وجل على رؤوس خلائق يوم القيامة حتى يخيره الله من الحور ما يشاء. That whoever control his temper and take that, didn't execute the anger, Allah will, while he can do it, meaning you can, like your son, you have authority on him. You could have hit him. You could do anything to him, shout at him. But yet you didn't do that. So if you control your anger under this circumstance, this hadith applies to you, that Allah will call such a person on the judgment day in front of everyone and will tell and choose from the hur whoever you want. So these are some of the rewards if you control your anger and temper. And it is also important because one time a man came to the Prophet ﷺ and asked him for advice. So the Prophet ﷺ said, don't be angry. So the man again said, maybe there's some other things. Okay, tell me something else. The narrator said it went back and forth, and the Prophet ﷺ kept repeating the same advice, don't be angry. So this is such an important thing. In one narration, the Sahabi who got the advice, he said, I realized that day that anger is the cause of all types of evil. So if you can control that, you will save yourself from many bad things that could happen because of anger. So how can you control anger? First of all, you have to know the reasons that you get angry. Because if you know the reason, then you can avoid yourself being put in under those circumstances. If you know certain topic will make you emotional and angry, then don't open that topic. Don't even discuss those topics. If you know that certain people make you angry, avoid those settings. So controlling the source is what you can do. What about if in a situation you cannot control the source? You might be walking down the street and someone will shout at you because, like, say if you are practicing Muslim and they want to say something because of how you're dressed or how you conduct yourself, that's something you cannot control the source. You were just walking. So what can you control? You control yourself, because you can control yourself and channel that energy into something positive. So if you got angry, you may return in kindness. The verse said, وَلَا تَسْتَوِي الْحَسَنَةُ وَلَا السَّيِّئَةُ ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم وما يلقاها إلا الذين صبروا وما يلقاها إلا ذو حظ عظيم. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the good and evil, they are not equal. So if you react in goodness, that will make you and your enemy as your friend. And there's so many incidents for that. For example, they said that Zayn al-Abidin, one of the descendants of Ali and Fatima, radiallahu anhum, a random guy came and was shouting at him and accusing him of things. So there are different narration of the stories. One story said he held him aside and told him, don't shout in public because if you do that, my people may harm you. So now we are in a private setting. Say whatever you want. So he let that man finish his all accusations and shouting. Then he rewarded him. He gave him the nice clothing that he had on. He gave it to the man, and he gave him more, I think, 1,000 dinar or something, which is a big amount of money. And the man was amazed and surprised. And he said, "You must be one of the descendants of the Prophet ﷺ, because this is the characteristic of the Prophet." So this is one example. Another narration of this similar story, they said that this man was shouting, and he told him, Zayn al-Abidin, he said, "You only told me 3 bad things about myself. Tell me more. I want to hear more." And he said, "I want to know my shortcomings." And the same thing, he reacted in kind and rewarded that man. The end of the story is the same, that he was amazed of his kindness, and he said, "You must be of the Prophet's household." So this is an example that you cannot control other people, but you can control yourself. If someone yelled at you, or you pray for them, and you say thank you or something, and actually that has more impact on them, because if they were trying to get you angry, the more you can control yourself, the more you are in control of the overall situation. So he will get panicked. He doesn't know, okay, what do I do next now? This guy doesn't get affected with all the shouting and that I did to him. So that's one thing. Return with kindness. Another advice, which is saying, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. And this is in the Quran. وَإِمَّا يَنزَغَنَّكَ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ نَزْغٌ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ إِنَّهُ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. So whenever shaitan comes to you, you say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, and that will take away the effect of shaitan. And that's also emphasized in hadith, more than one hadith, that the Prophet ﷺ, in one narration, he said, إِذَا غَضِبَ الرَّجُلُ فَقَالَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ سَكَنَ غَضَبَهُ. That if a man got angry and he said, أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ, that I seek refuge with Allah, then his anger will be cooled down. And in another narration, that 2 people, they had an argument. One of them got so angry, his face turned red. So the Prophet ﷺ said, he said, "Indeed, I know a statement that if the person said that statement, he will, whatever angry he has, it will disappear." And that statement is, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. So these are another advice, that if you get angry, you say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. A third advice is you keep quiet. You keep quiet. And this is also has evidence from the Sunnah that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِذَا غَضِبَ أَحَدُكُمْ فَلْيَسْكُتْ, that if any of you become angry, then be quiet, don't say anything. And there's another narration, he said this twice. He said, إِذَا غَضِبَ أَحَدُكُمْ فَلْيَسْكُتْ وَإِذَا غَضِبَ أَحَدُكُمْ فَلْيَسْكُتْ. So these are advice from the Prophet ﷺ for us, the Ummah, to follow, because when you are in the moment of angry, whatever you say, you may not mean it. It will be just self-reaction. So you keep quiet. One way to discipline yourself is that you train yourself with all these dua and supplications. Just like now, someone nice to you, like open the doors for you, you don't even have to think. You will just immediately say thank you because you are trained for it. So the same thing, if you train yourself that anything happens to you, you'll say, may Allah guide you. So these types of things will come easy on your tongue. And it's actually, in some culture they do that. Whenever they have some argument or disagreement, like they don't agree with what you say, they'll say, may Allah guide you. They mean it in a not nice way, meaning like you are misguided or something like that. You are wrong. Basically, they mean you're wrong. But anyway, it's a dua. It's better than saying something bad. So you can train yourself. Whenever someone acts badly to you, you say, may Allah guide you. And this can apply to anyone, Muslim or non-Muslim. A third advice is you change your sitting. You change your situation. So the situation and sitting can be physical or can be mental. So let's say about, let's start with the physical situation. So Prophet ﷺ said that if one of you become angry and you are standing, then sit down. And if that didn't help, then you lie down. So that is one aspect of changing your physical situation. Because anger, it will keep you in that train of thought that you suddenly lost your control and you let your background or subconscious to take over. So if you physically and consciously change your setting, that will break the cycle of your subconscious taking over. So if you are standing, you sit down. If you sitting down, if you had an argument while sitting, then you lie down. And again, this is doesn't mean like any type of physical movement. It's more like de-escalating the effects. So it doesn't mean, okay, because usually you see if someone starting an argument while they're lying down, they'll sit straight up, and if they were sitting, they will stand up and they would raise their hand. This is how the normal reaction of anger. So the hadith is telling us to do the reverse. You de-escalate the situation. You sit down, you lie down. Another example of changing your physical state is you go and make wudu. And this is a narration. Some scholars said, numerous scholars said it's a weak narration, but nevertheless it's so popular, that's why I want to mention it, so you know it may not be something that Prophet ﷺ said, yet the meanings in it are true in terms of other narrations and verses that we know. Which is, the narration said, the shaitan is created from fire, and the anger is from shaitan. So if anyone got angry, he should go and perform wudu. So wudu is, again, it pauses you. So instead of just caught in the moment and just go flow with whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do at the moment of anger, you pause yourself, pull yourself out from that physical sitting, you go do something else, you come back. So this is along the same line of changing your physical sitting. Then the next thing is changing your mental sitting. Mental sitting, how do you change that? Is if you thought of, if you, at the moment of anger, if you think about something else, something more important, or some other topic, you change the topic, you will again break that unconscious or subconscious reaction of anger. For example, you are in an argument and suddenly your phone rang. Someone called you. You will respond to the phone and you will change your train of thought. So after the phone call, you may go back to the same argument. But what if the phone call itself gives you a more urgent message? Suddenly you will forget about everything. And this happened to me. One time I had an argument with a brother about something. I forgot even what was it. We went to grocery shopping and he was talking about something, sugar or something. I forgot. So that means it's so unimportant, so small topics, but yet I was mad because of the attitude he was arguing. Because he always likes to win. So anything, even buying a sugar, he wants to win. So anyway, we reached home, and when we reached home, all his family were outside. And because something happened to his dad and they had to rush him to the emergency room. So suddenly all that argument, all that anger just disappeared because a more important thing happened. So this is a mental shift. If you were very angry with your wife, very angry with your husband, very angry with your son or whoever, the family members or a neighbor or something, just think about, okay, now if the earthquake happens now, or if someone just broke into your house and they want to rob the house, what would you do? You will defend your family. You will defend them because you love them. So, yet, in the moment of anger, you may say go all the bad things to them. But actually, when the situation changes, you will show that you care about them more than you think. So let's take some example from the narrations of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ, he was distributing some money, and a man accused him of being unjust. So he got angry, but yet he controlled himself, and the way he controlled it, he thought about something bigger. And he said, Yarhamullahu Musa, there are different narration. One narration says, Rahmatullah ala Musa. He said, may the mercy of Allah upon Musa, alayhi salam. He was being treated badly, and more than this, and he was patient. So the Prophet ﷺ basically, he compared his situation to Musa alayhi salam's situation, and he found that it's nothing compared to him. So he calmed himself down. So this is one example of you change your mental state. You think about something bigger. And there's another one. Is one time Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, he got angry. And one of the people in the sitting saw his anger and he said, let me handle it. Let me take the soul of that person who made you angry. And because of that statement, he suddenly got shocked. Basically, I won't take anyone's soul if they cause me to be angry. That is only for the Prophet ﷺ. So, because of that, suddenly, wow, what did you just say? Like, no, that's not for me. That's for the Prophet ﷺ. That held him back and changed his situation, and he calmed down. So, this is another way of controlling your temper and anger. This leads to the next advice. There are two types of people that we get angry with. Someone we care and someone we don't. For those who you don't, really you don't have, why do you waste your energy for someone you don't care about? So you save yourself from the effort. For those who you care, you have to think about the good things that those people did to you. If they were your parents, they did a lot to you. So even at the moment of anger, you have to think about the good things. If you got angry, you think about the good thing that person did to you before, so you will calm down. To summarize, these are some of the teachings in Islam about how we manage our temper and anger. You If you're caught in the moment, you keep quiet. You say, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem." You de-escalate the situation. You are standing, you sit down. You're sitting down, you lay down. You say something good back to the person, and you think about good things that they did to you. And finally, you change your mental situation. You think about something bigger than this small argument. So, why we been discussing about all this anger management? Because we said it may cost you your happiness with your family. It may cost you lose your job, as that professor who shouted at the coworker and he lost his job, and all other situations that managing your anger is important. But if you develop your skill, you become a master of it. When you are master of it, you can help other people. So, as the Prophet ﷺ said, this is an aspect of strength. It said, لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ بِالسُّرْعَةِ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّدِيدُ مَنْ يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. That the tough person and the strong person is not the one who can wrestle, who can hit people, and because he's stronger in muscles or what, but the one who can control himself while angry. If someone doesn't have that problem, so what can you get out of this type of training? Is that you can carry that coolness and use it in your advantage to excel in your life and earn more rewards. And if someone has that problem, then it's more reason for you to control it, because of that you may enter Jannah. Because of that you may get to this high status in Jannah, because Allah has tested you with something and you can control it. You may earn rewards every day, because every day you are confronted with the problem, and you hold back and you earn rewards. So all these are examples that shows you need to pay some attention to your emotional strength and put them to work for you. I want to mention some other aspects of emotions. So we said that this training is part of a bigger month-long program. We call it Stronger Than Ever. And Stronger Than Ever, we know that we may not grow in terms of physical strength, because eventually we'll get old. But in terms of emotional strength, we can develop that. It's something that the earlier you learn it, the better. Because the earlier you learn it, you will apply it right away, immediately, and you benefit from it, whether in your school, in your studies, in your career, or in your business, dealing with customers, dealing with your family. All that will come, you'll get the rewards and the benefit out of this training and knowledge as soon as you learn them and put them into actions. So this is, again, we said this is not the theory is easy, but the training itself not only teaches you the theory, but we have some exercise to show you your strength. So you assess your own strength, you assess your own weaknesses, and you also find out from your friends the feedback about you. And then you see how can you channel it, how can you control it, how can you leverage them to serve you and serve the people around you. This way, inshallah, you will be successful in this life and the hereafter. So sometimes we will think, well, I'm having this problem, there's no way to help. No, we just seen all these examples. Everyone gets a fair share of it, maybe more, maybe less, but everyone gets some aspect of it. So it's something that you have to live with it, and something you have to leverage it and use it to your advantage. And one of the earlier people, one time he said that adaptu nafsi, that I disciplined myself for 40 years, or whatever number he mentioned, until it become disciplined. So his companion heard that statement. He said, wow, you managed to do that? Like, you achieved that status? Meaning, there's some people will spend 40 years or more in their life, and they still cannot discipline themselves. And this is okay. At the end of the day, we are human beings, but it's not okay if we don't do anything about it. So this is really a big responsibility that Allah put on our shoulders, because this is an energy, and we have to channel it to help ourselves and help the people around us. Finally, I'll give some example of other aspect of this that this training will cover. Is that, for example, we'll go through the different needs of the human being, the certainty, adventure, being loved, being respected. We teach you how can you be fulfilled regardless of the situations around you. That you can be emotionally healthy and also emotionally fulfilled regardless of the people around you, because it is something in yourself. As the Prophet ﷺ said, عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلُّهُ خَيْرٌ. That what an amazing the affairs, the states, and the affairs of the believer. His affair always good. If something good happened to him, he will be thankful, and that's good for him. If something bad happened to him, he will be patient, and that's good for him. So again, everyone has to go through some difficulties in this life, but yet there are some people, regardless of all those difficulties, they are happy. Regardless of those difficulties, they are successful. So that's what we want to show and share, the thing that we know about this emotional aspect with you. So when something sad happens to you, you won't go forever into a depression and down cycle, but you know how to control yourself, get yourself out quickly. Then if you have some success in your life, you don't get arrogant because of that. But you know that all the success comes from Allah, and Allah may take them away. So all these aspects are taught in materials. For example, you may find in business books, psychology books, but the difference is we are presenting it, inshallah, under the guidance of Quran and Sunnah, using the wisdom that we find in our religion and in this beautiful way of life of ours that Allah has chosen for us and perfected for us. And also, this training or program is very unique, because this is the first time that we'll blend not only the Islamic teachings with the latest research from Harvard and these elite universities, but also we are blending it with the ancient wisdom from the teachings of Chinese philosophers. And you will be amazed that many of these teachings are in line with Islam. And actually some of the statements of Confucius and others, they are directly according to Tawheed. He will say that they worship the only one God, or worship the one, and he will point to the sky. So these are evidences that there are wisdom that Allah has given to humanity, and this wisdom is for us to benefit whenever they are according to Islamic teachings. So with that, I'll close this session, and inshallah we will meet again with another preview. And this program, it has an early bird special rate. So if you are interested in this program, take the advantage of this early special thing, because the general rate is $297 and the early bird special is $99, and payments plan are available. Again, your investment in this program not only benefits you, inshallah, but also will help us to put this material and put these things together, because this will be, inshallah, as a support such work, blending the ancient wisdoms from the East with the Quranic teachings with the latest research from the universities in the West. Wallahu a'lam, wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakumullahu khairan.
This has been a presentation of livinghalal.com. All rights reserved.